The Cavs made some moves this weekend that
Okay.
may bring them closer to a championship. We're going to discuss a couple of those here after a quick word from Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, in practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices, from small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global visions. We'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way, because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most out of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier finds the lane. Discover your success at easierwithepicor.com. We had talked about the fact that it had been reported that Koby Altman and the Cavs were looking to trade Isaac Okoro for a while now, and this weekend they found a trade partner. The Chicago Bulls agreeing to a deal with the Cavs, a one-for-one, player-for-player deal, sending Lonzo Ball to Cleveland, Isaac Okoro to the Chicago Bulls. It helps the Cavs from a financial standpoint because despite the fact the two make just about the same amount of money, Lonzo Ball has a team option for next year, meaning it's a 1 year guaranteed plus a team option, while Isaac Okoro had those 2 guaranteed years. Lonzo's health issues are certainly valid. They are legit. But Jason, even taking the injury stuff into consideration, is this a winning deal for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Yeah, they got more for Okoro than I was expecting them to.
Yeah.
So that makes it a win right there. I thought last year, just take the qualifying offer. I thought the qualifying offer would be better for both Isaac and from the Cavs' perspective, and then he could enter free agency this summer. They signed him to the deal, the long-term deal, and they were able to get an asset in return for him. So, yeah, that's a win. And, you know, if they need to get under the second apron, if they decide as an organization they want to pivot and get under, it's a lot easier to get off his contract as the $10 million expiring than it was trying to move all of the guaranteed future money to Okoro. So, yes, Mike, you're right. The injuries are always part of the conversation with Lonzo. If he's healthy at the right time, he can be a big help to this team in terms of ball handling, playmaking, size. You know, he's got all that in his favor. And the financial side of it is a win for this team in terms of future books and limiting the risk into the future. You know what Okoro is. We've seen it time and time and time and time again. He just wasn't playable in the playoffs. He's a nice enough guy. If he could find a consistent three-point shot and build confidence in it and become a consistent shooter in the playoffs, he'd be a really valuable weapon to an NBA team. But until that happens, he's just not.
G, before you go, just want to make sure everyone's on the same page with Lonzo's injury history. He has played 70 total games in the last 4 years. He missed the entire 22-23 season and the entire 23-24 season with a left knee and ankle injury. He came back this year. He did play 35 games, started 14 of those at the end of the season, so he's healthy at the moment. But the injury stuff is 1,000% legitimate with Lonzo. But, G, are you a fan of Lonzo Ball, and how do you think he fits with the Cavs?
Well, listen, man, the injury game, bro, he more injured than me. Like, and that's tough. Like, in real life, like, he missed calendar years. Like, you go back and look at it, like, you know, I thought he really was on track to put his career back together with the Pelicans. He signed with the Bulls with the major deal. You know, listen, he was a number 2 overall pick. He's long, he could defend, he's athletic, he's a great passer. You know, is a guy that can really handle the ball. And I look at it like this. When you look at the Indiana Pacers series, I thought it came down to a couple of things. When you were playing Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro, and those are your defensive, you know, packages, they played those guys a lot together. And you can't get the ball in court because you ain't got another ball handler. Like, we got something wrong, bro. We got to figure something out. But this is a huge if. I want to just put this on an asterisk. This is a huge if. Like, when you miss 2 calendar years back to back and you got a knee, and I think he has a degenerate. I'm not going to put it. There's his knee. One of his knees seems like it's a degenerative knee, which is you have to baby it. We all know if you have multiple surgeries like a lot of people do in a knee, one knee is usually better than the other one. One needs to be cleaned out, periodically, or, you got to do some major maintenance on it throughout the year. If you can get a Lonzo Ball, who is a guy that's going to come off the bench, that can distribute the basketball, be more athletic, and trust me, Isaac Okoro is very athletic. He just can't dribble or score or shoot or...
Other than that,
he's dope. Other than that, he's one of the best dudes in the game, right? But look, I like to move, and I like the fact more financially and fiscally, because I was tired of hearing McNuggets and Jason Lloyd talk about this second apron, and then I had to figure out that it was true. Unlike the NFL, where I go around and say, me and Jay say, hey, it's imaginary money. The salary cap in the NFL is imaginary. That's not. No one can ever say that for the NBA.
Oh, it's
no,
real.
like there's nobody running around trolling talking about the NBA. People blowing their whole teams up.
That's why you have 7 straight seasons with a new champion.
Yes, they blowing their whole squads up. I heard Al Horford's on the market. People talk about Derek or White trades. I'm like, this is wild. So for the Cavs to move that type of salary, get it's an expiring contract for $10 million. Now, if he don't do nothing, cool, that's off the books.
Yeah.
You got flexibility back again, so I like it.
I think that's the biggest piece of it. Someone told me once that after, and it's different for everybody, but they said between 3 and 5 years, you are what the numbers on the back of your baseball card say you are.
Yeah.
And that's usually true. Like, you don't reinvent yourself in season 6. He's 7 years in the league.
Well, this will be his 9th season.
My God.
He's played 6 years, and he missed 2. He was in the same draft class as Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell.
God. Oh, my God.
He was drafted number 2 that year.
Okay, so that's why it seems like
Lonzo Ball, he's been in 9 years?
This will be his 9th.
This will be his 9th season. He was in the same draft class as Donovan and Jared Allen.
So in the vein of, you've got 3 to 5 years, and then you are what the numbers on the back of your basketball card say you are.
Yeah.
Well, he's a guy that can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And there is a long enough track record of that it would be highly surprising to me, especially because now he's older. Like, we don't get healthier as we get older.
No.
We're all in varying stages of decline.
Yeah.
And I kind of get the idea that he's going to be a guy that plays 21 games. We get him for 6 or 7. He misses 2 months. We get him for a few here because that's what the basketball card says he is. So, but to your point, I think the best part of this is I didn't think we would be able to pull off something like this to get rid of Okoro's contract.
I thought we just had to ship a bunch of 2s and a Minimowski player.
2s aren't enough to get off all that future money.
That's what I thought.
So we got it. I mean, he's gone.
If they really want to get under the second apron now, I think they can.
They can do it
because you can reroute Ball if it comes to it. And again, you have up until the trade. This isn't something that has to happen now. You have up until the trade deadline to do this, to get out of the apron. You can reroute Ball, and if you have to attach a 2, if he's hurt again and you have to attach a second-round pick or 2 second-round picks or whatever.
You can do that.
An expiring $10 million hit is a lot easier to manipulate and maneuver. And the same with Dean. We've said all along, I thought Dean would have more value than Okoro just because he's bigger, he can make threes, and the contract was much more manageable. I think Dean's like $6.5 million on an expiring. So now they're not there yet, but they've got a little bit more wiggle room now if they need it. Or they may just, if he's healthy, keep him and play him.
We had asked the question kind of spontaneously on Friday, why was Dan Gilbert selling 15% of his interest in the Cavaliers?
Right.
And one of the things that hit me after we did the show when I was thinking more about it was, well, maybe that's going to be his piggy bank to pay the hit on the luxury tax when he thinks the iron is hot enough to strike and win a title.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with that.
Yeah,
it's like a pot of money that he can use, and if he ever divests, if he ever sells the Cavs, and who knows what his plans are, he'll get that back.
Oh yeah.
He'll get that back. So the thing that I wish I had said Friday during the show that I didn't think of until later on Friday was, if he wants to just say, oh, you know what, I'm going all in, hit me with your tax, I don't care. I just had a bake sale where I gave up a sliver of interest in my team, and I'm going to pay your tax. And I'm wondering if that wouldn't be a blueprint for other owners moving forward.
It's not so much. They're not at that point. They'll get to that point.
I don't think they are at that point yet.
They're
now.
not at that point.
But they
yet.
might be next year.
I like that.
We
point.
talked about with the Celtics, they were looking at a $500 million basketball team between payroll and penalty. But they were so far ahead of where the Cavs are. The Cavs are just starting that race.
Right.
And the Celtics are 9 exits up the road.
Yep.
So
They're getting off the ramp now.
Yeah, it's more the levers when you talk second apron and everybody. I think a lot of people talk about it. Not a lot of people actually understand it.
Yeah.
It's so
It is
much.
very
I don't understand it. I'll be perfectly honest.
It's from the team's perspective. It's more restrictive in the levers that allow roster building than it is the money. Okay. Owners will pay the money. Dan will pay the money. Ballmer
Even the
will pay
$500 million. My Boston's not doing it.
But I mean, that's
you get
where,
into a number that is the pain is too great.
Yes, but we're not there yet.
Right.
Right now, this is still operating as a team that's in the luxury tax for the first time.
Right.
But it's the roster restrictions that force teams that make teams want to think twice before going in.
What I wondered is, and we talked about this a week ago, with 2 of the 3 favorites, betting favorites in the East, now wounded ducks. I wonder if Dan isn't looking at that and saying, oh, the time is right now.
Yeah.
The time is now.
Oh, no, it actually is.
And it feels like if it's not now, it is next year. And I don't know what move can be made where they can move into that and pay the tax, take the hit. Oh, here's the money from my 15% piggy bank. Tax me all you want. I'm going to raise the trophy. Because all of a sudden, I mean, when you look at the East, and I know the Knicks are still there, and we talked about the rising young bloods in the conference. Detroit's, Atlanta, they're coming.
Orlando.
But right now, the Cavs are a couple exits ahead of where they are.
Cavs should be the prohibitive favorites in the East.
They should be, and maybe Dan said, my iron just got hot because Boston fell off and Indy fell off. That's 2 of the huge hurdles in our way.
Philly.
Let's go all in on this thing. I've got the luxury tax money. Let's go for it.
And it's an older market. You look at Embiid, he got old overnight. He just looks like he's old. He can't even move. You talk about Dame Dollar. He's looking like he's older. He coming off an Achilles. You got all these Achilles injuries. But look, I'll give it to him. Now the way the league looks, and y'all know y'all gonna look at me like, yo, I don't believe this. G. Bush said that. If you did not have an injury for Darius Garland, I would have to have a crazy package for me to move him. The only thing that stands in the way right now for me is the fact that he is slightly injured. I don't know what he's going to come back and look like. But if you have Darius Garland and Lonzo Ball and some of these other guys and you take a Mobley jump, I still don't know what Jared Allen's going to do. But listen, hopefully Mobley's good enough where Jared Allen gives you what he gives you. You should be the prohibitive favorite. The only thing I'm looking at is this. You don't want one of these other teams to make one of them Oklahoma City Thunder jump. Like, what if the Magic come out next year and the Magic is just nice, and the Pistons step up and the Pistons is like, oh, well, we got ball players too, and then you're kind of jousting for between the top 3 picks, and they still got young dogs that are on the ascension too. I want to make it a stamp. Like, no, you're not beating us. Give me one more dude, and you'd be like, you're not gonna beat us. We got Donovan. We got Evan Mobley. You're not gonna beat us with this roster. Right now, I do think they're the favorites, but I think they're not it's not a comfortable favorite.
2 things on the Lonzo deal, then we'll move on to the Sam Merrill side of the equation here. Couple of things with Lonzo. A, he's a big guard, right? Now, the health thing, that's the caveat with all of this. The health is 1,000% a concern, but after missing those 2 seasons, after missing half a season, came back, did play 35 games to close out the year, didn't play a ton of back-to-backs, but with an off-season, hopefully he can stay healthy. So that is the big caveat here with all of it.
Right.
But he's a 6'6", long and athletic guard. Very underratedly athletic prior to the injury. We'll see how much of that high-end athleticism he still has after the knee injury. But the one thing I like about Lonzo is, A, you can never have enough ball handlers and playmakers in the NBA today. Just go back to that Game 2 collapse against the Pacers. They couldn't get the ball over half court.
Yeah.
If you have Lonzo and he's healthy enough to be in that game,
that eliminates
I feel
that.
pretty comfortable with him being able to dribble the ball up past half court. At 6'6", with long arms, and he's a pretty good defensive player, he could play alongside Darius.
Yeah.
He could play alongside Donovan. If you want to go super pace, you could play all 3 together because he's 6'6" and's guarded bigger throughout his career. I'm not sure you want to put all that pressure on him for 82 games in the regular season, which comes back to my next point. Last season when Oklahoma City lost to Dallas in the second round of the playoffs, said, how can we improve our playoff roster? Not our regular season roster.
Yeah.
We're the ones, how can we improve our playoff roster? They called Chicago and said, hey, we have a guy in Josh Giddey who doesn't fit our playoff plans.
Yeah.
Young player, has some upside. What if we take Alex Caruso off your hands, a guy who is a little more of a veteran, doesn't necessarily fit your timeline? They made that deal. I'm not saying Lonzo Ball is Alex Caruso, and I'm not saying Isaac Okoro
I know
is
what
the
you're
same
saying.
caliber.
This could be that deal.
I'm not saying he's that caliber of Giddey.
Right.
But look how OKC used Alex Caruso in the regular season to then get to the playoffs. Do you know how many minutes per game Alex Caruso played for the Thunder in the regular season?
No.
Jason, do you have any idea?
I would guess 18 to 20.
I would say 20.
Played 19 minutes in the regular season. In the playoffs, played 28 minutes in the playoffs.
Total?
No, per game. Per game.
Okay. I was going to say.
Wasn't playing 19 minutes in the regular season. He played 54 regular season games.
He won a couple's finals.
So that's a product of Sam Presti saying,
We know we
you
need him
two
for the
teams.
playoffs.
You need a regular season team, and then you need a playoff team. And we took one to the dance.
And now I think with the Lonzo Ball injury situation, knowing that he can be a playoff rotation guy. By the way, he's never played in the playoffs. Lonzo has
Ever?
0 career playoff games in his career. So this is me assuming and projecting, but his skill set fits in the playoff rotation. If he plays 50% of the regular season games, but is healthy for the playoffs and can give you 15 minutes off the bench,
That's
is a
a
gigantic win because we've
Yeah.
seen the Isaac Okoro playoff scenario play out 3 different times now. And maybe it'll happen at some point in his career, but the Cavs couldn't take that chance.
And Chicago doesn't care that he can't play in the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know what you can't have? I think shout out to the Cavs for recognizing this. The Cavs realize we're not athletic enough, low key. I mean, we're okay, but when Max Strus is your second best creator in a playoff series,
Yeah.
that hurts. Like,
You mean the Vanilla Wolf doesn't cut it for you? athletically?
no, the Vanilla Wolf. He's gonna have to find a new nickname somewhere else. But I mean, Max Strus was a guy that was creating. He looked like he was bringing the fire and the intensity. I think they were really showed up by how well Indiana was physically out hustling, out physical them. They were just quicker and stronger. It looked like, and I think Kenny saw that and said, "Look, hey, give me a guy like Lonzo Ball. We got to manage his work, but." Think about it. You got a 6'6" guy that could be with Donovan Mitchell. Now, my question is, how long is Darius going to be out? And is he going to be receiving big minutes? Or is it Craig Porter Jr.?
I would not play him big minutes at any point in the regular season. Just my 2 cents. I don't think it's worth putting that tax on his body. You drafted Proctor, who can play a little point guard. You got Craig Porter Jr.
So you think one of those dudes will start?
I mean, maybe Lonzo starts, but I'm not playing him more than 22-ish minutes at any point in the regular season.
I'm cool with 19,
Yeah,
20.
not a guy that gets hurt that much.
Nah.
Especially if this. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. This is a playoff play. This is them looking at Sam, the way he operates, and saying, "Let's move like Sam."
You're talking about Sam Presti.
Yes.
Not Sam Merrill.
No. Yeah,
Because we're going to get to Merrill next.
Definitely not move like Sam
Just
Merrill.
wanted to make sure.
No, they're
people
watching
weren't
what
confused.
Presti did in Oklahoma City, and there's a lot of similarities between where the Thunder was 2 years ago
Yeah.
and where the Cavs are right now. Trouble for the Cavs is they're kind of stuck in that lane. And their plan this year was, well, we're going to roll out in the playoffs exactly what we rolled out in the regular season.
Nah.
And then they watched Oklahoma City and said, you can't do that. It's a different sport. When the calendar flips to April, the sport changes.
Completely different. And last thing, then we'll move on. Kenny Atkinson has a hell of a track record in getting the most out of point guards, going back to his days as an assistant, all the way to his days as a head coach. Point guards that have come under Kenny's tutelage have performed very well.